I don't know if you've ever gone for a stroll around the old port over the summertime. I lived near the old port for about 4 years, so I spent many a summer night going for a stroll along the water. And I would always be struck when I would see, a huge cruise ship docked at the port of Montreal. I say, wow, that's amazing. I always have questions. I wonder where it's from. I wonder what the people are like. I'd have all these questions go through my brain. Now, a new economic study reveals that international cruises along the St. Lawrence River contributed over $329 million to Quebec's economy in 2024, generating nearly $200 million in added value, supporting more than 2,200 jobs. The report highlights an average passenger spending of $364 a day, rising to $442 when lodging is included. Let's talk a little bit more about those cruise ships that come along the St. Lawrence River. René Trépanier joins us, General Manager at Cruise the St. Lawrence. René, welcome to the program.
Thank you for hosting me. Good morning.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you here. So like I said off the top, I've seen these big, beautiful cruise ships. I've never been on a cruise ship in my entire life. I keep thinking about going on one. And then I always have these questions. Where is it from? What are the cruise ships from? Where are the people from? Why don't you tell our listeners a bit about the types of people that are taking these international cruises to our neck of the woods?
Good question. First of all, we have 4 categories of cruise ships coming to the St. Lawrence. We talk about last season in 2024, the study that we just launched captured, let's say, 1,300 passengers and crew and questioned them about their spending. And amongst them, we have people traveling on contemporary ship, on premium ship type, on luxury tip, and also on expedition. And the origin, I would say, it's mainly international. We talk about 90% of foreign visitors disembarking either in Quebec or in Montreal from these cruises, or embarking, because we have 2 ports of 2 turnaround ports in the province of Quebec. We're lucky for that. And you named it. The average expenditure per passenger is quite spectacular out of that very recent study. We compared our numbers with 2019. We have kind of tripled up the expenditures, the average per passenger, and we're really happy of it. That study has been done by a local Quebec firm called Aviseo. In the past, we're doing every 4 years we're doing it. In the past, it was done by a U.S.-based company, commissioned by the cruise line themselves. This time, is the destination. The province of Quebec decided we need our numbers, and we come with what you've just said, close to 200 million of economic impact for the province of Quebec.
So where are these cruise ships coming from?
Most of them, they come, we're in what we call the Canada-New England itinerary. So most of them will depart, let's say, from New York or Boston, and they do 7 days or 9 days or 10 days cruises going to alongside the coast of Maine, Atlantic Canada, then entering the St. Lawrence and ending either in Quebec City or in Montreal. And then most of them will do a turnaround and do the opposite ride. This is the biggest part of the cruises we have. But we have also several cruises coming from Europe as well, straight from the UK or from the Mediterranean, and they go across, and sometimes they end in Quebec or end in Montreal as well.
Wow! So that's interesting. Is that a growing sector? The ships coming from England or the Mediterranean?
It is growing, especially Canada is really attractive for the European-based companies. Some of them want to avoid the U.S. and come straight to Canada and spend some time here. And we're working hard on these companies to attract them. But actually, our market is based mainly in September and October. But we want to expand the season. It's already season expansion when we see September and October. It's the fall in most of our regions. They love to have ships at that time of the year. But the fact is, we would like to have more in the spring in the summer, and we started to host ship in the winter. You might have heard about it, but we had the very first winter cruise last January, February, and March of 25. It's really recent, and we opened a new market recently.
What that winter cruise? Tell me about that. Where was that coming from or going to?
It was in between Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon, which is part of France, of Newfoundland, and ending in Quebec City for the first season. So it was a 12-night itinerary touching Île de la Madeleine, Gaspé, Sept-Îles, Saguenay, the fjord of Saguenay that was entirely frozen, and then ending in Quebec City. It was really, I would say, spectacular, that very first season of cruise. The ship did 5 different cruises. And it was an icebreaker called the Commandant Charcot, French company.
Huh. And is there any opportunities for Montreal to expand as, a launch point for cruises?
Yeah, the expansion from Montreal is always on our radar. We the only constraint of Montreal is the 8 of the bridges, the Pierre Laporte bridges, the Trois-Rivières, the Jacques Cartier Bridge. So Montreal has to work with mid-size or small-size ships, but most of the cruise line, they prefer to go upriver when they can reach Montreal because of the airlift, first of all, because of the city itself, the appeal of Montreal. So the growth is expected to Montreal in the upcoming years. We're discussing with different companies, and there's a big interest to go upriver, and eventually in the winter as well, I can tell you.
Yeah, and René, before I let you go, is there any last thing you want to add before I let you go? Maybe it's on the winter stuff or anything else?
What I want to add, we talk about numbers, but the overall the impact is also on the promotion of our culture, of our First Nations, and the money that is brought to the Quebec economy is something important. But also it gives us such a beautiful window to talk about who we are to that type of clients, the cruise lines, the cruise passenger. They're educated. They come from mostly United States, and they want to hear about who we are, and cruise brings that to the province of Quebec.
Well, I've always thought it's so great when I see those cruise ships docked here in Montreal. René, I want to thank you for your time. I got to go.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
René Trépanier is general manager at Cruise the St. Lawrence.